A chef knows that she needs 4 cups of flour to make 18 pancakes. How many cups of flour would she need to make 45 pancakes? Again, we'll start with our let statements. They ask us how many cups of flour would she need to make 45 pancakes. So we're going to let the amount of flour needed for 45 pancakes be X. Now, this is also a proportion problem because whenever we're changing the size of a recipe, whenever we're trying to make more of something or less of something if we want to scale it down, the ingredients still have to be in proportion. If we want to make 3 times as many pancakes as a recipe calls for, then we need 3 times as much flour. If we want to make a smaller recipe and only make 1/4 of the amount of pancakes that the recipe calls for, we only need to use 1/4 of the amount of flour that the recipe called for. So the quantities of each ingredient are going to be proportional to the amount of the food that we want to make. So because this is a proportion problem, we're going to set up a table. And in this problem, we have 2 different types of quantities here. If you read the first sentence, a chef knows that she needs 4 cups of flour to make 18 pancakes. The different quantities that we have in this problem are flour, measured in cups, and then pancakes. Now we're told that the chef knows she needs 4 cups of flour to make 18 pancakes. That sounds like those are numbers that came from a recipe. So we're going to call that the recipe. And then later we're asked how many cups of flour would she need to make 45 pancakes. Well, that's a much larger quantity, so let's write larger quantity. Sorry, I'm running out of room there. Larger quantity. All right, let's try and fill in our table. The number of cups of flour in the recipe is 4. We're told that 4 cups of flour will make 18 pancakes. So for the recipe, that's going to be 4 cups of flour and 18 pancakes. Then for the larger quantity, we don't know how many cups of flour she needs. We said that that was going to be X. But we are told that the larger quantity of pancakes that she needs to make is 45. So that's going to be the last number in our table. And once we've filled out the table, we can take all of that information and set it up into a proportion. So we've got 4 over X equals 18 over 45. And now that we have a proportion, we can solve it by cross-multiplying. X times 18 gives us 18x. And 4 times 45 is 180. Now to get x alone, we divide both sides by 18. And when we do that, 180 divided by 18 is 10. We know that x is 10, and if we go up into our let statements, that was the amount of flour, and flour in this problem is measured in cups. So the amount of flour needed is 10 cups, and that's going to be our answer. She would need 10 cups of flour. And we're good to go.